Good morning, everyone. Hey, Moran, Jam, Mike, Raj. Good afternoon. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the folks joining us on YouTube. Thank you for being with us. Good to see everybody. Well, oh, first live. Hey, welcome. I'm not sure what to call you. Is it C dollar or Canadian dollar or C dollar sign? At least I, at least I can pronounce it. C is fine. Okay. Hey, Colin, how you doing? What's up, Johnny? Hey, Christian. Oh boy, it's funny. A lot of people come in and they have like these Discord names that it's like a whole bunch of letters, and I'm like, I'm just gonna call you Bob. What's up, Nano? How you doing? Hey, folks, what walking pad do I use? I don't know what brand it is. My girlfriend bought it off of Amazon. It wasn't that expensive. It's not bad, you know. It's been working so far. Good, good, good. I wasn't it. Hey, this under the desk treadmill thing is it's good. It's good. I've lost a couple of kilos already. Hey, we're starting to correct inventory lower. All right, let's get to it. So overnight inventory is long, and it is only finally, after hours and hours and hours, starting to correct a little bit, right? So what we're looking for is we're looking for it to come down. Oh, this is beautiful. This has been, we have been waiting for a liquidation all night. Put in a new overnight low. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We have the point of control where all the cost basis is priced yesterday here at 6503. And let's see, I've got where are my balance levels? So here are my balance levels. Now, it was a tight range. So you'll have to forgive me. The balance was 12 to 14 half. and then doubled it to 7. I took this, I bought 8 to 13. That was the only trade I did today, was this one. I bought 8 up to like 12, 13. That was the only trade I did. Now, let's see if we can clean this thing up. Now, I love liquidation. We'll get some good trades. And 4 times is 64.97. VWAP is at 12. Okay. Now let's look for a seller. If you're doing the look below and fail of 7, you should have a seller at 9. Let's see what happens here. Gosh, I hope that's not the end of the liquidation, is it? Come on. No, seriously? That was it? Sold off for a whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. Not even. Hey, Zeth. Damn this market. It's right back to 65.08. Well, we found the bid. Hey, what's up, Dan? Boy, I tell you, the higher this market goes, the harder it is to liquidate it. That was like a psych. Just psyched out a bunch of people. Even the president hasn't even been tweeting lately, has he? We need him to wake up, hit the Diet Coke button. Say something crazy. Yeah, no kidding. Look at the amount of buying that came in as soon as we took out the close. As soon as we took out that old overnight low, we didn't get much further down, did we? Look at that. 4 to 2, a whole 2 points of liquidation. That's supposed to be the thing, Dan. The higher it goes, the bigger the liquidation, supposedly. The problem is, the higher it goes, the more people short it. And every time it liquidates, you see, that's the problem with this market. This market, you guys mark my words, right? When we all have our second or third lives in 100 or 200 years, remember I said this. Write it down somewhere. They're going to write books about this market because this is the most unusual capital market I have ever seen, where stocks are so tightly held in large, massive positions that even massive liquidations are bought up violently, right? They've built this market so there is no profit taking. Rich people don't sell stock. They get loans against their stock and then write off the interest on those loans on their taxes, right? 100-point swings are normal. We had a 500-point day in the ES, not just a few months ago. 500 points, right? They are going to be writing about these markets in 100 years, and they're going to be baffled that we actually let this stuff happen. Okay, we've got a seller at 9.5. Okay, that's the good thing. When there's a liquidation breakdown, what happens is, you see, pretend that we were all... You ever been to one of those really fancy jewelry stores or a clothing store, or where you need an appointment to go see somebody? You can't just walk in there and buy a pair of shoes. You need to make an appointment. So this market, the sellers have had free will for years now. They just keep marking up price and people keep coming and buying it. So in the rare occurrences that we do get a liquidation break, sellers have to compete, right? They have to lower price. put the product on sale, right? And when they do, the buyers just come rushing in because we've created so many buyers because we have gaps in this market that have not filled for years to the downside, right? It's fascinating. Now, the reason I know so much about this is because I used to trade for villains. And people pay me an insane amount of money to actually manufacture short squeezes. That's my specialty, is the short squeeze. To manufacture and design and build a short squeeze. That's what I do, right? So I happen to know a little bit about short squeezes. Also, I have been taught short selling by some of the most, how shall I say, evil, manipulative, brilliant minds on the planet. So all of that information I try and use to teach you how to trade so you can take advantage of it. So if we understand the markets that we are trading, right, then we can better trade in the right direction and not get caught up with things like all gaps fill. Well, lately all gaps to the downside are filling because the next day there's just a rush for supply, right? It's like we're having Black Friday sales and people are pushing up against the door to get into the store to buy goods, right? Liquidation breaks are not very common. If you'll notice, every time we do get a liquidation break, the next day it corrects to the upside. This is exactly where my knowledge of the look below and fail comes in. Exactly. I was doing that when I orchestrated the squeeze. So in this room at the Trading Syndicate, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach you how to be a proper villain, which is also the name of my book if I ever finish it. I'm getting close. Hopefully by the time I finish writing the book, someone will actually be interested in reading it. But that's another story. It might be, JJ, we've heard all this. Doesn't really matter, right? But I want to teach you guys how to be proper villains. You know, a proper villain is somebody who makes $50 million in a month and nobody knows he actually did it. That's a proper villain, right? He's walking around amongst the rest of you, right? You may think he works at the library. Exactly, right? Now, what are we going to do off the open on this crazy thing? Oh, here's the thing. You know, I said on Sunday night, I said they're going to take this and they're going to sell it up here. And then yesterday I said they're going to continue selling it up here. We are still in distribution, right? And they don't need to put it on sale yet because we're just kind of slowly moving up. The other thing is, you know, usually we have some sort of news. Today we have no news, so we have nothing to kind of shake the tree a little bit, right? Tuesday, no news. Wednesday we have PPI. And Thursday we have CPI. Friday they have consumer sentiment, right? Next week we have a Fed meeting, right? Next week we have a Fed meeting, so things will start getting a little bit interesting next week, right? What would you recommend TPO to trade this effect? No, no, no. You don't. When I first started, see, I used to swear on TPO. I never even used candles. You can use a half-hour candle chart to mimic the TPO chart. You don't have to have TPO. I started retail trading using it in 2012, so I have it sort of as a comfort thing, right? But you don't need to have it to trade. In fact, a lot of people get confused by it. What would a manufactured short squeeze look like on a chart? Uh, PLTR? Uh, hey, thanks, Arch. We have revised job numbers at 10. Thank you. Um, there are short squeezes all around you, Juice. They're everywhere. They're really everywhere. All of these things, Tesla was a manufactured short squeeze. The first time it ran to 1,000. Remember he came on and he smoked a joint on the Joe Rogan show? Everybody thought he was nuts. They shorted the stock. Bailey Gifford bought it all, and then they ran it up everyone's, you know what? Oldest trick in the book. It's called the Hudsucker proxy, where the CEO pretends they're insane. Everybody shorts the stock. You get a bank to buy all the stock, and then you ram it up their nose. It's a beautiful strategy, right? Yeah, the 420, all of that stuff. You know, he came on, everybody thought he was nuts, so they dumped the stock. Bailey Gifford bought all the stock, and that was it. GME too, right? All of these things are manufactured. Someone on the other end who has cheap cost basis, that's the business, my friend. Yes, 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 yes. Right? Unless you can prove a conspiracy, it's completely legal. It's the business. Right? Now, the thing is, that's why every trade setup I teach you is centered around why the business or how the business works, you see? Now, what are we going to do here? You think we can get any lower? Hmm. Here's the bottom of yesterday's cost basis. We call that value area low, which is a fancy way of saying the bottom of the cost basis. Exactly. Exactly. Sorry for the caps. So the TPO chart for me is like a map of the city. Okay? So this is a map of the city, and this is a map of the neighborhood here. That's what the candle chart allows me to execute because it gives me a place to put my risk, and it gives me a place to see where my targets are. The TPO chart tells me, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be shorting down here, right? I'm kind of, if I'm going short, maybe I might be walking into a bad neighborhood here, right? That's the way I look at these charts. They're showing us distribution. Oh, we have a seller at the close. Okay, that's good, right? So do you see? Remember, see how I was saying how the sellers are lowering price? See, they were selling here, then here, now here. And that's what you want when you're a seller. That's why you guys get those trend lines, right? A trend line is created when the sellers are lowering price and the top of the candles are getting lower and lower. That means there's competition to get rid of price, to lower price. A trend line up means the bid is following the ask higher. People are following the sellers up and are willing to pay more. So this is what you want when you're a short seller. You want that those sellers engaging lower and lower and lower, right? You always want to short if there's a seller, right? In the old days, we would never short anything unless we knew that there was a seller. You know? Like if we found out that someone was selling 2 million shares of a stock on a sellout because of, guy didn't pay his bill, right? We'd short it, right? Because we know those 2 million shares are going to push the price down. Exactly. The top of the candle is where the sellers initiate and start to compete, right? See, there you go. A thin market is definitely is much more um, volatile, because what happens is in a thin market, all you got to do is drop a sizable order, and the whole thing will just shoot. You know, it's like here. You know, a large buy order came in, and look how quickly the market recovered. Right? These markets are thin, and they're getting thinner all the time because they're becoming more and more speculative in nature. Right? I like TPO charts too. It's just TPO charts, when normal people see a TPO chart at first, Dan, it's a little off-putting. You get all these letters and numbers, and what the hell is this? Lowercase letters, uppercase letters, some are different colors, right? It's very off-putting. And the TPO education, that's why I try and take TPO and make it practical, right? Because sometimes you can get really caught up and down a rabbit hole of information with charting, and where it gets to be like, well, how does this make me any money? You know, that's the big thing. We have to be able to build a trade setup using this stuff, because here's the thing, right? A lot of people want to trade and make a lot of money, but most people just want to make a living. So for those people, let's build a system that they can actually go and make a buck, and then if they want to, they can scale it up, right? So the basic trades I teach are scalable in time and size. So you can start and learn how to make 50 to 100 bucks a day, build your level of skill, get consistent, right? There's not a lot of retail traders that make $50 a day for 6 months, 10 months. They don't. They make $500, lose $500, make $1,000, lose $3,000, blow up accounts. There's no consistency. Learn how to be consistent, and then add size, and then add time, right? Consistency is key. Let's see here. You can. I mean, you need a prime brokerage account, but, you know, you definitely can. It's basically you're trading like a wholesaler. See, because here's what it is, see, right? Here's the reasoning. You get liquidating traders being taken into wholesale positions and then resold into the retail flow for profit. And wholesalers are doing this all the time, right? That's how wholesalers trade. Now you know your ABCs. The alphabet traders, that's what we are. That's true, William, right? Learn how to be consistent, folks. Yes. Learn how to be consistent. Your account and, honestly, your mental health will thank you. Trading is, and something we've got coming. Steve's working on something here at the Trading Syndicate. The problem with retail trading is there's no support system. You're sitting at home in a room by yourself, right? You're trying to figure this out. There's all sorts of conflicting information, right? It's very, very difficult, right? So what we do is we want to try and give you that support system where you can manage your business, right? It's very hard because there's so much bad information, so much wrong information, you know. So traders don't have a resource. When you work at a brokerage firm, you've got a senior trader, you've got risk managers, you've got compliance guys, you've got the owner of the firm. You know, if it's a small firm, there's a hierarchy, a chain of command, where, you're not allowed to fail because if you fail, the firm fails, right? So they're invested in you. Here, you're just kind of off by yourself, right? You have no resources, right? It's, and we're working on an AI product that's going to help with that as well. It should be quite something. Steve and Ray are working on it. It'll be pretty cool. I'll have more details later. Anything we could do to get an edge, right? Because no, it's they're working on it. And learning how to be wrong quickly is. Did I see your 91 call from yesterday? No, I'm sorry, High Odds, I didn't. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Opened. I gotta say I'm short biased, but I'm not. The chart's not really backing me up right now. I'm always naturally short biased, right? That comes from being a seller, you know? I've always been short biased because I've always got millions of shares of stock to sell. So if we hold 7, we should rotate up to 9.5, 9.25. But we're not holding 7 just yet. Let's see what kind of bids come in. I bought 7.5 and I scratched it right away because I realized I had jumped in way too early. Let's see if I can take that again. There we go. Yeah. I took it again at 7.25 and I'm out at 9.75. Right? So the first time I did it on one micro, I bought 7.25, 7.5, and as soon as I bought it, I was like, oh, damn, I'm too early. I scratched it right away. And then when it came back up, I took it again and sold it into this strength here. Let's see where VWAP is. It's okay to scratch trades, There's nothing wrong with it. Just keep your business expenses tight. Right? I'm used to being wrong. My mother told me from a young age that I was an idiot. So I was used to being wrong. So when you're used to being wrong, You have no problem getting out of bad trades quickly, right? So, you know, yeah, there was definitely a seller there, see, right? Right? So there's no ego issues with me, right? I'm wrong, yeah, big deal, right? Okay, won't be the last time, right? Perfection in trading is impossible, you know? You know, and as the great Al Davis said, right now that the autumn wind is back, as the great Al Davis said, just win, baby. It doesn't have to be pretty, right? Your trading doesn't have to be pretty, you know? It's not like we're trying to play guitar like Stevie Ray Vaughan or play the violin like Heifetz. All we have to do is eke out a living. It doesn't have to be pretty. You can be wrong, scratch some trades, and get back in there, right? Detachment to trade outcome is one of the hardest things I've ever had to master. And I haven't mastered it yet. It is still something I work on daily, right? Attachment to the outcome of the trade is so hard. You've got to work on it actively. It's like it's like an addiction to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It does not go away. It's very hard to get rid of, right? You have to be vigilant, right? Yeah, addiction to the outcome of a trade is that's very difficult. You have to become detached, and it's so easy to say, "Oh, just don't," you know, but it's so hard to do. And even when I trade other people's money and not my own, I still have that issue because I don't want to lose money for other people, right? Even if it's not my own money, I don't feel comfortable losing a lot of money for other people. So it's something that you really have to work on. And yeah, good peanut butter is tough to pass up. Luckily, they don't have it in the UK. Now this is ultra choppy here. Good grief. Let's see. We need some more customers to come into the store now. No trade here for me, my friends. Hey, Jeff. This is this is another thing that gets traders. They go short, they get stopped out. They go long, they get stopped out, and that will make you want to pull your hair out. Trust me, I've been there. Very quickly, you've got to learn when not to trade. When it's choppy like this, right? I tend to stay away, right? It gets me every time. You go short, you get stopped out. You go long, you stepped out. Next thing you know, you've taken 3 or 4 bad trades, and you're so pissed off that all you want to do is punch the monitor. I get it. That's why I just sit back and relax, right? Sit back, relax, let this thing set up, wait for a trade setup, and that's why that look below and fail, look above and fail is nice, see? Because if that trade's not happening, I'm automatically relaxed. I'm not all tense. See, what would happen was when the market opened, because I was ex-institutional, I would get all tense. And I'd be like, okay, got to make money. And then it would chop back and forth, and you'd go long, you'd go short, you go long, you go short, and nothing's working. And you're getting all wound up, right? So once you have that trade set up, then your brain can automatically just relax. Because here's the thing, retail trading draws in people who are like self-starters and who want to take their financial future in hand. So they feel if they're not doing anything, it means they're not working. And that's how you get into trouble, right? Hey, Jem, nice trade. It's calm but choppy, right? If we clear this, there's going to be sellers here and then up here. Those are kind of the obvious places there's going to be a seller. And VWAP is right in the middle there, so it's like there's a wrench in the whole works. It's wholesale going back and forth while they wait for more customers. Exactly. Right? They will buy and sell in a very small range because economy of scale, right? Because they can buy and sell thousands of contracts and make a tick. You got to remember wholesalers don't pay commission per trade, too, right? That's why you shave your head so you don't pull your hair out. Oh man. So this is a look above and fail of 12. I did not take the trade because VWAP psyched me out. Bad discipline on my part, right? Steve was saying when you should take the trade. That was the look above and fail of 12. Should have been short 11 and a half, right? Covering down here. I saw VWAP and I thought we'd stop at VWAP. That psyched me out. Bad discipline on my part. Okay, so we're selling through VWAP. Now I know. What I think we're going to do is we're going to build a box, right? If we have a nice enough rotational range, we can just trade the outside edges in. So let's see if that happens, because that's what's been happening lately, is that we've just got a nice rotation. We've got sellers at 12. Let's see where they stop trading, stop selling, right? That VWAP thing psyched me out. I thought we were going to stick VWAP, so I didn't short it. I just stick an offer out. If the offer gets taken, if the market's in motion, I'll hit the bid or take the offer. If the market's moving slow enough, I'll use limit orders. I never use market orders. I'll use the flatten button if I am in trouble. Like if I fat finger myself into a trade, I'll just hit flatten to get out of it. Now let's see if we can use 7. Maybe get a look below 7 and fail and come back up. There we go, going below 7. Boy, it's really choppy. Did nobody come to work? Yeah, Dan, I really don't know what that means. That sounds like something Lao Tzu would say. It sounds good, though. But I don't know how to use it. I'm long 8 and 3/8. I've got a 9 3/4 offer in, and let's see if I get tickled. Out one at 9 3/4. Let me try 10, and if I don't get taken at 10, ooh, 10's a bit high, isn't it? I'll move it down to 9.5 for that second contract. No, no trade, no takers yet. Come on. Bad discipline again on my part. I scratched that. See if I'll take it again if it holds 8. I should have had my offers in. Instead, I was bugging Dan about Confucius and the markets. Right? No, I'm not bug. I'm Dan. I just have no idea what that means. The market follows value and uses liquidity to do it. Just find the bid, brother. I'll simplify it all for you. Just find the bid and work off of it. Right? Ugh. Another look below and fail of 7. Yeah, I'll wait for the next candle. Come back to 8. I might have missed this trade. Just remember, if you are long and we get past 10.5, there'll be a seller at 11. Right? Make sure you have your offers out. If you are long, right? See? Make sure you get out. Right? If you're long at 9 even, sell 10.5. Make a point and a half. Get paid, ladies and gentlemen. Get paid. You want to be, when that large order comes in, right? When that large order comes in, you want to take advantage of it. Because the sellers start to compete very quickly. There is no direction. Exactly. Yeah, it's like Rocky chasing the chicken, right, Colin? Back under 7 again. Right? I'll tell you something, Dan. The market's all about cost basis. If you really want to know the secret to this whole business, right? If I could be so bold as to tell you what the secret is. The secret of this business is cost basis. Now, you guys are probably wondering, JJ, what the hell are you talking about? Right? Cost basis is everything. He who has the lowest cost basis has already won. That's why penny stocks are great, because you get the stock for free and you sell it and you make millions. Right? So if you have the lowest cost basis, you are making money when other people are not. Right? Yeah, actually, a penny's a little expensive there, see? Right? Usually it's like, $5,000 for 5 million shares. Right? Long 7.5, selling at 8 3/4. Um, but cost basis, Oh yeah, that's nothing, my friend. Cost basis is everything. What is cost basis? Cost basis is the essence of trading. It is the essence of and the lifeblood, the pillar of trading. Nobody tells you guys this. Cost basis is how much you paid for your product that you are going to go and take and distribute. So I buy one share of stock for $1, another one for $2. What is my cost basis? It's $1.50, right? I'm long 8, selling 9 3/4. Ooh, I got lucky. I'm out at 10. Right? Cost basis is what you paid for your product. Right? So there my cost basis was 8. I sold it at 10. I made a profit of 2 points. He who has the lowest cost basis is always winning. Just like Charlie Sheen. Right? It's exactly that, see? Right? Nice work, Lear. All right. Cost basis is everything. That's why you guys should not invest in penny stocks. Because the people that are selling you the stock got it for free or almost nothing. Right? In this chart, where is cost basis? Right now, it's here. Here's the cost basis being established right here between 7 and 8 over the last 5 minutes. Right? If you look at a daily chart, there's the cost basis from Friday, and it's being taken and marked up and sold for profit. Cost basis is just time and volume traded. We keep track of it with the blue area here. Right? Liquidity is the ability to transact size without adversely affecting price. I want to buy 1,000,000 shares of a stock at $5. Well, if it only trades 100,000 shares a day, it's going to be kind of hard. I'm going to have to work that order for a week. Right? Or work some magic somewhere else. Need some of that tiger blood, eh, Dan? Exactly. Right? Well, okay. What's next? It's not even time for coffee break yet. That's the problem with these all-time highs that we're trading at. Nobody wants to play yet. The other thing too, remember next week, when do we officially start rolling over that contract? We'll start next week, right? Ugh. We'll start next week with the contract roll. So we're going to start splitting the volume between two contracts. Where's the Z contract? No, it's only traded 5,800 contracts. The Z contract is trading at 65.60. So it's significantly higher. Data in 9 minutes. Good. Hopefully that shakes something loose. From my experience, the best time of the day to learn the look below and fail, look above and fail is during Globex because the market moves slower. Right? Time of day all depends on order flow, see? RTH, you're going to get more people in the stores, so you should get better order flow. But right now, I mean, I've taken a couple of scalps, right? I've taken that 8 to 10, 8 to, 9 to 10 and a half, 7.5 to 9 3/4. I've taken that trade 3 times. It might be getting a little tired now, so I should just put the mouse away for a little bit and see what happens. And we do have news at the top of the hour, so hopefully we get some more. That news, what news I feel news is, it just drums people up, right? It's like having someone outside the store going, "Hey, there's a sale." It's really at see, the problem is lately this market has been making a new all-time high, every 2 or 3 days, which has not really done wonders for the order flow because nobody really wants to play at these levels. So you'll notice that after a good liquidation, the order flow is so much better, right? It's really much better after a nice big liquidation. Here we go. Ooh, a seller. How exciting. Looking for that overnight low at 65.04 or 65.02. 65.02. There we go. If we break the overnight low, I'm looking for 64.97.98. And I'll show you why in just a second here. It's the bottom of this cost basis right here. Why do indexes always go up? Because they're structured to. Markets are built. Because if indexes didn't go up, nobody would buy them. Really? Right? So, Ghosh, if I told you, I said, "Hey, man," I said, "Hey, why don't you give me $10,000, and in 5 years you're going to owe $100,000?" You're going to think I'm smoking something, right? But if I say, "Give me 10 grand, and in 5 years I'll give you 100 grand," right? You're going to go for that. I hate it when it doesn't take out the overnight low. That is such a roach trade. Oh my God. Brutal. That was brutal. Volume point of control is right at the close. We'll see if we can stay above 7. If we stay above 7, we're going to rotate up to 9 again. Right? So, how many people do you think shorted underneath the close on that move down? Right? Long 7, selling 9.25, selling 9. Out 1, out 2. And I am flat. I'm short biased, but the last 4 trades I've taken have been all long scalps. Could I explain the 10 a.m. cash open? Colin, I don't know what the 10 a.m. cash open is. Sorry, brother. I would forget about it if I were you. It's not going to really help you make money. In fact, that's the first time I've ever heard of it. Where did you pick that up from? I've heard of. Well, then, you better get him to explain it to you. Is it something that is limited to UK markets? I'm long 7.5, selling 10s, if anyone's interested. See, Colin, like just right there, right? I was trying to answer your question, but I did take the trade, right? So you really want to focus on the chart, and this is what gets traders. We start going all over looking for stuff, and sure, the guy might be a 30-year veteran, but if I wasn't concentrating when it looked below and came back up over 8, and I took that long, right, then I wouldn't have made the money, right? You see what I mean? So while you're in a trade, you really just want to focus on the chart, my friend, right? Don't worry about cash opens and all that stuff, right? It's we really, really want to make you money, right? I sold too early, but that's okay because I always sell too early. Yeah. Yeah, it might have something to do with UK markets or Irish markets. I have no clue. Never heard of it in 33 years. It's a rotational market this morning, folks. We have B as an inside bar, right? So far. Now that we trapped everybody over 7, let's see if we can take out that overnight low. I'm quick in turning inventory into cash. I am, my friend. When I was on the desk, you had to do trades in 30 seconds or less. You didn't allow the phone to ring more than once. If you miss a trade, well, you're probably going to get fired. So you had to be quick, right? You had to be quick. There was a sense of urgency. And that's why I like scalping, because scalping makes you focus, right? It squeezes your brain into focusing. All the mistakes I've ever made in this business is from a lack of focus, a lack of discipline, and a lack of concentration. That's when I've made mistakes. Yeah, my claim to fame was hitting 6 bids simultaneously using phones before electronic trading. Yeah, I would. You might as well be looking at a Jackson Pollock painting there, Dougie. No real trader's ever going to show their, you know, right? They're never going to show their hand on an order book. Let's see if we could get down to 97.5. But I know how your brain thinks, right? You're a scientist, so you're looking at a lot of things. You're like, Jerry, we have this guy in our room. We haven't seen him in a while. He's actually a real rocket scientist. But you guys process a lot of information. I just want you just to be profitable. Is there something that helped you with discipline? Yes, Hank. I was hard on myself. Because when I started retail trading, I was very undisciplined, right? Because all I used to do was sell stock. And I could set the price of the stock depending on the customers coming in, right? Because I was you know, so when I started retail trading, I had no discipline. So I forced myself to do the boring stuff every day. I would like write out the profiles every night after the close. I would hand draw all the profiles. I would replay the charts. I'd slow them down in certain places. I would do all that really boring stuff. And the thing was, at that time, I had no life because I was divorced and I was looking after my 85-year-old mother and I was in Saskatchewan, so I had nothing to do, right? So I used all that time and I spent hours and hours and hours looking at things. And at first I went down rabbit holes too. You know, people would say footprint charts, nose print charts, this chart, that chart. None of that made any difference. Couldn't make any money. So when I met Steve and Steve started talking to the guys at SMB, it was all about process, routine. And its routine is the only thing that saved me, right? Where you develop a routine and you do the same thing every day. So when the trade fits your terms and conditions of doing business, then you're very familiar with that business because it fits your routine. That's why you don't see me taking FOMO trades, or you never hear me going, hey, let's just try this. You know what I mean? Sorry, Dan. I should have been looking for a look below and fail of the overnight low. No, Steve, my partner in the room, he's friends with the guys at SMB. So that whole thing about one good trade and defining your setup, and what I noticed about prop traders is how disciplined they are. Markets close and they're doing journaling and, on an institutional desk, after the market closes, we're all in the bar. right? In the old days, we're like journaling your trades. What are you writing poetry? Let's go. It's like get out of here, right? But all of that discipline stuff is what saved me in this business, in the retail side of it, right? I mean, you would have been, if you were journaling trades on an institutional desk, they would throw a phone at your head. That's evidence. You don't write any of that stuff down. So, just, so but retail is a completely different business, right? So just get into the routine, Hank, and don't try new things, right? Yeah, never write anything down, nothing in threes. Don't do anything on the phone. Okay. Sorry. All right. Past life, past life. Okay. Let's see if we can creep back over 6507. That's why you'd have business meetings in these like truck stops like 10 miles outside of town where nobody would see you, right? you know, let's see if we could get back up over 7.5. We're going to 9 again and then rotate back down. Let's see. It was funny when we started the trading room. I didn't know anything, right? We started this trading room 5 years ago, and people would say, "JJ, what's your favorite setup?" And I would say, "The FBI agent posing as a fund manager. That's my favorite setup," and it still works today, right? I didn't know trade setup. I had to learn all of that, right? Setup. Look below at fail of 6507, although a longer term, a choppy one, right? It's kind of like the look below and fail, but it's like the drunk guy walking up the stairs at 3 in the morning. Is he going to make it? Generally, if we have the inventory underneath us, we'll slowly creep up. We on a recorded line. Exactly. There you go. Where did you work, Tilt? Florida? Long Island? I do not use the initial balance. Miami? Well, we probably know a lot of the same people. Looking for 12. There's 11 and 3/4. Oh, we came close. Going to Regina? Oh, Jesus. Uh, man, I don't. It's like a ghost town there now. Maybe try and go to a football game. Go see a Rider game. Hey, at least you're going before it gets really cold. If we can take out these sellers at 13.5, we'll be clearing the 14.5 area. See, there's just no reason to put it on sale. Yeah, Ivan Boesky was a smart dude, man. He was. Those 1980s corporate raiders were something else. Boesky, Bilzerian, Icon. So we got our 14.5. And back down to backfill. Let's see if we can hold VWAP. You know, as choppy and as annoying as this price action has been, the trading's actually, you can actually make a buck. You can scalp in and out of this, right? Backfilling is exactly at a retrace. You see, these big green candles here, this is you take price up, right? And that creates demand, right? And then you go and fill in that demand with supply until you find really big buyers, and then you lift price again. Yeah, backfill is that like that really quick, you know, folks, for the next 5 minutes on aisle 19, you know, Frosted Flakes are 2 for 1, right? So everybody comes running in to get the cheap price, right? That's why all the old guys, like, they say price is an advertising mechanism, right? So when price goes down, if enough people are short, they'll come in and start covering. Yay, Chris. Good balance there. The strength of the retrace and the time. Sometimes you'll notice it'll only retrace for a minute, right? So now you see around that 11, just underneath 11, there's some unfilled buy orders. That's why the market's stopping there. And if those buy orders start to pile up, we'll start creeping over 12. If those buy orders start walking away, the market will start moving down under 9.5. The seller at 12. Oof, there's no follow through at all in this thing, is there? It's really back and forth inside chop. So where are the guys in the coaching class? Are you guys in the room this morning? Anyone around? I'll be around at 11 for a price action lab if you guys show up. It might just be you and me, Moran. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Shall we take a look and see what's shaking and What's the hot stock lately? Is everybody just taking a little bit of a break, I guess, eh? Oh, that's cool. NBIS. Okay, I'll have to do a chart on that. What happened to the president's deal? Ooh, kind of let it go, didn't they? Boeing made a pretty decent recovery. Eh? Look at that. I missed that one. I'm going to have to start paying attention to this stuff going into the last quarter. Microsoft still under 504. MSTR. We'll see what happens. Gosh. So next year, remind us. We take the week off before Labor Day and the week after. Now all we got to do is find somebody who's got a nice big boat. I mean, last week was slow. This week is slow. So I think we should next year make some money, pretend we're fund managers, and take the first 2 weeks of September off. It is slow, my goodness. There have been some decent trades though. You can grind out a living, but I know when I was living in London, I'd go and walk around Canary Wharf, and they had. Remember when they seized all the yachts from the oligarchs? I'd always walk around and see if I could get an invitation onto one of these boats. No such luck. Beautiful ships, though. Gosh. Well, folks, I apologize for this price action. We had a few decent trades. Now, if you come visit us at the Trading Syndicate, we don't just trade ES. We've got NQ for the Red Bull crowd. We have a crypto room, equities. So anything you want to discuss and trade and dig around in, we have someone who will help you. The nice other thing about the room too is if you're a new trader and when you start trading, you don't know what software to use, you have trouble setting up things, we have people who are good at that as well. They'll help you out. And for those who like to trade commodities, got a fairly active commodities room. I don't spend any time in there because I don't trade commodities at all. Uh, Not much. Just don't overtrade today. It's already slowing down ridiculously. Usually after I hop off stream, something happens. Let's see if we get a little bit of a move. When the markets are range bound like this, Dan, basically it means business is slow. So it's just you go into Walmart on a Tuesday morning, maybe there's somebody buying carrots, there's a couple of people buying cereal, but it's like no rush for big screen TVs. You know what I mean? It's just that time of the month. We got a Fed meeting. It's just slow traffic. So when yeah, you don't overthink it. It's just, remember guys, it's a market. It's a market. Everybody forgets to tell you that it's a market. Sometimes markets are slow, right? Don't worry, it'll heat up because the next quarter is coming, the last quarter of the year. We're going to be, like Secretariat, we're going to be coming around the last turn going into the last quarter, right? And that's where everybody makes the scratch, right? That's where everybody comes in and wants to make the scratch because bonus time is January. Yeah. It'll get busier. Just a little bit of a transition time. Yeah, they've been slow since April because of the president and his judgment day. He kind of went and threw a wrench into the whole markets. Sorry. Doesn't really inspire confidence when you when you slam a market down from 6,200 all the way to 48.78 and then put in new highs. Kind of makes everybody think you're a little haywire, right? This is not normal business. Right? So people are a little, of course, and you can't blame them for being a little cautious, right? When you get days like this, it's kind of off-putting to, that responsible institutional money, right? Hey, Miami, what's going on? How's life in Lotus Land? Thanks, brother. Good to hear from you. Well, I'd love to see them test yesterday's low. That would be choice. I could go for that. You know, but boy, oh boy, every time we get anywhere near 6,500, it just selling such shuts off like a switch. Here we go again. Let's test. Let's see if we can get underneath 6,500. There's a ton of trap shorts under 6,500. That's why the market just bids every time we get there. Look at the size coming in at 6,503. Soon as we get close to that overnight low, bid, 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 taken bid, taken bid, taken bid, taken bid, taken bid, right? Usually when you start coming to a low, it's hit an offer, hit an offer, hit an offer. Look at it. Take it and bid. Take it and bid. Take and bid. Take the offer, bid. Take the offer, bid. Take the offer, bid. Right? Every time it gets close to there. Let's see if it does it again. Take and bid. Take and bid. Take and bid. Right? So that's telling me that there's a lot of demand for product at 6503 and under. Now, who's going to be buying size at that level? Right? Yeah, you guys use that word pinning. I think pin the tail on the donkey. Right? So every time it goes, here we go again. Here we go. Now, if that doesn't happen, it means the shorts have seen size and they'll drop their bid under 6502. Otherwise, they'll start taking and bidding. Take the offer, bid. Take the offer, bid. Take the offer, bid. Price goes right back up. Right? Let's see, where's the point of control? It is here. It's almost 10,000 contracts right at the open. So most of the volume today has been done at the open. And anytime we get near the threes, they come in for it. We'll see. If we hang around three long enough, eventually the longs will start to get a little anxious. They'll start to get a little nervous, right? And they'll start to sell out a little bit. And that might create some competition, right? I learned that when we ran a phone room. A stock comes off, you better get some buying in there pretty quick because selling begets selling. See, look at that. Take and bid again, once again. So just watch that area at 6503 going forward, right? Just good stuff, Hank. Get in and out. Watch your risk. Don't overtrade. And that's it for me, folks. Well, price will get there because there's a consistent seller there or a consistent buyer. Thanks, folks, for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Please don't overtrade. Mr. Griffin has already enough multi-million dinosaur skeletons. Don't give him your money. We'll see the rest of you at 11 in the Price Action Lab. Come join us at the Trading Syndicate. We'll teach you how to make sense out of this wacko business and actually earn an income without pulling out all your hair. This fall, I'm going to be also introducing some new stuff on longer-term investing and how to invest in markets and hold stock from the perspective of somebody who actually builds and structures companies. So that'll be interesting, trying to offer you guys more. We will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and be safe out there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.